Welcome! It's Wednesday night. Welcome to the daily FSG Daily Grid Show. Tonight with Matthias on my side.
Hello everybody, good evening. Yeah, it's Wednesday, it's 9:30 p.m. local time here in Hockenheim. We're curious, where are you out there? Maybe you're still working in your pits or you're at home in your hotel, or for all the guests and all the participants at home, welcome out of here from the BW fifth floor. And we are happy to have you today again. It's another busy day. We had 3 days packed already. We have all the sponsors here inside. All the teams are still busy with their scrutineering. We are heading to the dynamic events tomorrow. So it's pretty exciting going on here.
Yeah, so let's dive right into some updates from today. So first, let's check out what's going on with Corona.
Yeah, it always have to be part of our meetings. And as we did yesterday, we also had a brief update on the COVID situation here on site. We tested another 390 people today in the McKee above pits. The very positive news is all of them are tested negative. We keep doing so tomorrow. So again, you will find the updates or your personal schedule on your today.formulastudent.de account, on your My account. Basically, we have the same schedule tomorrow. We start testing at 10 until 4 p.m. But all good. Looks very promising for the remaining week. Another update we want to provide you on scrutineering. Also here, you see here on the screen the details of the inspection. Basically, we see a big progress coming from yesterday. But nevertheless, if we see on the bottom line here on the tilt drain and brake test, it's going to be a very busy morning on Thursday. And we hope that many teams can make it before actually skid pad and acceleration starts, to see as many of you out there on the track. Katrina, you're gonna do more. You have more inputs for us, or more information regarding event control.
Yes. So your questions, of course, we ask you and always encourage you to ask questions, which is great. We also posed, as we already told you, we don't have a big event control this year, as we know it from the previous seasons. However, we have the mini event control. So when you have any questions, please go to our colleagues next to the Sachshaus here. What you see on the map, there's this wooden desk where you can ring a bell. There's actually a bell on the desk, so nobody has to actually sit there all the time, but ring a bell, and then they will come and also attend you. Because it is important that you only call the emergency number when it's actually an emergency. So we had that couple of times that, of course, you have urgent requests, and we understand that, but the emergency number should be really for emergencies. So please make sure to do that. And if there's another question you may do in written, then you always have the help desk tool. So go to My Account, and then on the bottom, you have the help desk tool where you can just click on a button and there will be an email opened up automatically where you can ask your questions, and you will be answered very soon. As talking about support, we also wanted to talk again about the Sportsmanship Award. So who helped you this year? As we already said in the team welcome, we want you to tell us who is your sportsman, who helps you this year. Something in the car broke, you forgot some tools, anything like that, or maybe during the rain a couple of days ago, your campsite was flooded, so some teams helped you. So please make sure to submit those kind of experiences to the online form, which is also post here, and also the QR code, you can scan that, but we will also upload the slides later, so you can always go back and fill in that form. So please nominate your team that you want us to give the Sportsmanship Award. So talking again about support, that's the third topic we wanted to talk about, is the track marshal support. So this is the support actually to us. So as we mentioned in the team welcome, since we are quite short on officials this year, we need 30 track marshals to support us during the dynamics on Saturday and also Friday afternoon. So if you have time and if you're interested, then please send us a mail to track.marshal@formulastudent.de and mention your team name and also your PIT number so we can come to you and also provide you with more information and clarify stuff so that you can actually help to make these dynamic events happen. So now...
Actually, the weather forecast is very promising. So what we can do after the last couple of days where we always had rain in the afternoon, the remaining week should be sunny. And that was a decision that we add something to the schedule on Friday. So let's see what that is. And we want to do a panoramic picture on Friday over lunchtime. Right now, it's not yet on your schedule, but we're going to add that tomorrow. And we made the decision first because weather forecast is very fine, very positive. We're going to expect dry conditions. And also, we thought in any case, a panoramic picture should be part of a Formula Student Germany event.
Definitely.
So what we're going to do, we ask you to queue up on Friday, 11:30, so right before lunchtime. The only limitation we have, we do not have team members on the picture, but only the driver sitting in the car. So what we're going to do is to have the driver sitting in the car as always, and then one pusher, and then the pusher will wait at the side of the start-finish line until the picture is taken. It's a general hint. It might take always almost an hour until the picture is taken. So the driver might take a pit stop before you enter the start-finish line. And as always, the cars without wings are in the front. The cars with wings are in the rear. So now let's have one more slide regarding the details, regarding the setup. So you see here on the screen, it's the start-finish line, or you see the pit building and the start-finish line. That's also actually where the acceleration takes place tomorrow. So how you enter, it's shown here in purple. You enter the start-finish line through this door at the end of the pit building, and you push your car to the very front. And in green highlighted, you see the two rows with cars without wings, and in orange you see the remaining cars with wings. Everything should be prepared, and it might be quick, and the driver remains seating in the car, and we're going to start doing so at 11:30 on Friday, and you're going to add that to the schedule tomorrow. So that was a brief overview, some introduction, some housekeeping, some general topics. But before we really continue, we mentioned it already that the last 3 days we are quite busy on the technical inspection. And what we have prepared, we're going to have some impressions we're going to share with you of yesterday's and today's technical inspection.
Don't kill my vibe, baby. I'm walking on the moon. Oh, oh, oh. I'm walking on the moon. Don't kill my vibe, baby. I'm walking on the moon. Oh, oh, oh. I'm walking on the moon. Walk with me.
All right, welcome back. There were some nice impressions already from yesterday and today. So talking about technical inspection, we will continue to talk about, and that's why we invited some guests to our studio today. So I would like to welcome my guests, Jet and Sarah, today on stage. Hi.
Hello, good evening.
Hi.
So, Sarah, Jet, maybe as a quick introduction, who are you and what are your responsibilities on FSG?
So my name is Jet. I'm responsible together with some colleagues for mechanical inspection. You might have seen me around. I started as a student, also 2 years in the team of Delft. And then I first became a scrutineer in Spain and continued in Germany as a scrutineer since basically 2016. That's...
Yes. How about you?
Sarah?
And I'm Sarah. I'm now responsible for accumulator scrutineering and some electrical questions and ESF with a lot of other colleagues and scrutineers around here. And I started 2009 at a combustion car in Dresden. And then we switched to an electric car, and now I'm a scrutineer in electrical scrutineering.
Maybe Sarah, let us start off with some general questions. What are your observations, your findings, or maybe your highlights of the last 3 days of technical inspection?
The observation was that the team were quite good prepared, and even with the less team members, there was a good team spirit and a lot of good discussions with the scrutineers, really technical ones, and we found some issues, but we had good communication with the teams and find almost for every issue a compromise and a solution, so that was good. And so the teams can fix it or already fixed it, most of them, and they can thrive. And another good thing was some teams were really good prepared, had everything in the folder for scrutineering, and could just talk through all of the scrutineering shared on their own. So we had some really nice experience, but the spirit between the teams and the scrutineers was quite good.
That sounds exciting. Very good.
Yet, how do you see that, your observations of the last 3 days yet?
My observations, I kind of expected, due to the situation we're in after 2 years, that it would have been a little bit trickier for most teams to pass scrutineering, but we've seen that the teams already participated at multiple events. So the cars actually were pretty well prepared. But as soon as we did find something, I noticed that some of the students were lacking a little bit on their explanation and solving capabilities. But as a nice surprise, actually, we had, for my experience in the last years, one of the most relaxing mechanical inspection days. And yeah, we are very happy that a lot of teams already passed. So yeah, we're looking forward to a few nice dynamic days. And actually, the most exciting times are coming now, because we see some teams having failures on track. And the nice discussions are coming now to come up with quick and easy solutions for the team.
That's good. Yeah, very good. All right. When we talk about helping the teams out and helping each other, maybe we would like to also ask you, how do you, within the scrutineering team, also internally within FSG, but also externally with other events, how do you cooperate? Because over the last couple of years, as I understood, you started to actually work with each other also quite a lot. So maybe, Jet, you can first talk a bit about that.
So as already said, I started as well myself in Spain, and the whole volunteer group of Formula Student volunteers is pretty limited actually in Europe, and a lot of us know each other. So people from FS Austria, FS Spain, FS Netherlands, the newest competition, FS Switzerland, we know each other or already participated in either of the events as either scrutineer, general volunteer, or judge. And to basically make it easier for us all and be less dependent on, well, the available time of one single important person somewhere else, we try to cooperate a little bit more with each other and communicate it with each other over, for example, issues of teams that are already clarified earlier on, say the first competition this year being FS Netherlands. So shout out to them for already filtering out most issues. And yeah, we try to communicate a little bit more with each other every single year or so, but obviously that's getting a little bit more complicated as soon as you are having different opinions, different views. So with that more communication and hopefully in the end getting to a more efficient process, there are still some hurdles to cover.
It's always like that. So as I understood, or I know that in accumulator inspection, for example, you used to do that a lot, quite a lot within or around the different competitions. So
Yeah, we started some years ago to put our documents together with other competitions, like FS Austria and FS Netherlands joined a few years ago. I started even as a scrutineer in FS Austria, and then I came to Germany. And now this year, Switzerland joined and East as well. So it's nice, all the scrutineers are mixing, so we have different opinions and we have different exchanges in real life. So that's nice and makes our work a little bit easier and more efficient, and I think also for the teams. But also inside there was more communication between electrical and mechanical scrutineers, so they work more together to make it more reliable, the scrutineering, quicker and easier to talk to, especially in accumulator, mechanical, walking around with e-scrutineers. So we have a bigger community and we try to join like a big scrutineering team together.
sounds good.
Sounds good. Maybe as a final question, can you give us some brief hint or maybe some advice to the teams how they should get best prepared for the scrutineering event? Maybe Sarah first.
I think the best preparation is practice, 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 and take some experienced guys like alumni scrutineers who live close by and go through the inspection sheet more than once and be familiar, and maybe don't have only one guy who knows the scrutineering sheet, have more team members to know the scrutineering sheet. And always think, if you have a question, what could be the intent of the rule to keep you safe? That's mostly the rules about. So use your brain and think what is the safest way to get to a solution, and then you will pass scrutineering in a really quick way.
Awesome, thank you. I guess that rounds it up perfectly. Thank you so much for joining us tonight to give some advice and some insights about the scrutineering events. It's always, will stay busy tomorrow for you.
Yeah.
So we wish you might be a short night and then get some. I hope you can get all the teams through scrutineering tomorrow. And thanks for having you tonight.
Yeah. Enjoy your night and get some rest and stay fresh tomorrow.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Ed.
Thank you very much.
Have a good rest of the day. How do we continue, Katerina?
So now, actually, since we touched upon tech topics, we also want to give you some tech insights. So we started in the magazine, in this year's magazine already with that. We want to do, we want to further develop also ourselves to give you more of technical insights into some of the teams. So what we want to introduce now is our tech talk. And this is a kind of a video where we briefly put together some cool new things that the teams develop. So yeah, enjoy.
Okay, so hello and welcome everyone to this year's Formula Student Tech Talk. So in the next couple of days we'll visit some teams here in the pit and have a look what they've come up with in the last 2 years, what new concept they introduced to their cars to improve their performance. And first we'll start with TU Munich. Okay, so first of all, thank you very much, Kilian and Thomas, for the opportunity to show us your new wheel package you introduced this year for your new electric vehicle. So, Kilian, can you please explain us what was the main reason you switched to this concept and moved the e-drives lower and make them not coaxial to the wheel hub anymore?
So the general idea was to improve on our overall concept. So as you probably can see, it's heavily based on aerodynamics, and so the idea was, by lowering the electric motor, you could place the A-arm above the electric motor and increase the size of the under tray inlet. As you can see, the under tray in general is now really, really large, and we managed to increase the mass flow through it by 10%. Also, this comes with other benefits, primarily lowering the unsuspended mass. So we managed to lower the whole COG by 3% with this change. In general, this also comes with a few issues, mostly concerning forces in the A-arms, which you can see they're pretty thick here. So this was a big challenge to manage that, but it works properly now.
Okay, Thomas, so while most of the competitors use planetary gear sets to reduce their speed and increase the torque, what was your team doing to get the e-machine lower, and what was the main challenge for the lubrication here?
Well, as you mentioned, the normal planetary gearbox concept wouldn't work anymore, as we want to have an axis offset of the e-machine to the wheel. So we completely redesigned it, and as you can see it here on the table, we switched to normal gears which are connected on a two-stage gearbox. We were also able to lower the mass of the complete gearbox compared to our previous planetary gearbox, and also the situation in terms of lubrication was much better with this concept, as we are now using oil sump, and so we have way better lubrication, and also conducted CFD calculations for it to really improve it, and yeah, those were the main benefits of using this gearbox.
Okay, thank you very much, guys, and we hope to see you guys soon on the track, and have a nice week.
Thank you.
Okay, so today we visit the team from Zurich here, who brought Alvea, their new electric vehicle, to the competition. And Toby joined me here to talk about the new radiator. And as their rearing quote already tells you, there are a lot of custom parts on this car. And yeah, this year they introduced a self-made radiator, and Toby can tell you some nice features about this right now.
Well, yeah, so the radiator was 3D printed through SLM manufacturing out of aluminum by our partner Kiburt. It is a lattice structure, so basically one surface separates both fluids, so air and water. We were able to reduce the amount of water in the system, and therefore also minimize the weight of the whole system. In addition to that, we have a very small pressure loss over the radiator on both fluid sides. So we can decrease the amount of energy the pump uses, and also have it as a benefit for our aerodynamic systems. For some more numbers, like in general, we have a 117% increase regarding a power to weight ratio compared to the 2019 cooling system.
Okay, so this part was brought as an update to the car to make it ready for the 2021 competition. Those fans were also new, or was this also implemented before, and how do you control them in the endurance run?
Well, all of this was newly developed, so also the fans, and the 117% increase I was talking about earlier is for the fans and the radiator itself. So yeah, we have these also self-developed carbon fiber ducts where we use these Maxon motors with our props, and they'll pull all the necessary air through our radiators. And for example, in the endurance run, as the energy consumption isn't very high, we can run them almost full time. So this isn't a problem.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tobias, for the insight into your car, and hope to see your car racing soon.
Yeah, thank you to the teams for sharing your technical insights. It's always good to see what you have developed over the years, and it's good to see that the teams can share your experience and learn from each other. So that's great to have you, and thanks for sharing these insights. Last week we had the virtual statics events, and that's where we also want to look into that. As you know, on the business plan presentation in the past, you had to upload an executive summary. Now the teams had to submit a pitch video, and that's where we look into that. So now let's go to the static events and see the business plan presentation pitch videos.
Do you want to bring the Formula Student spirit to your company? Follow me. We connect our customers, global companies and Formula Student through our app. With Fuse. Simplify Formula Student, get connected and swipe for your dream job. We will connect Formula Student globally with a user base of more than 40,000 members. With a net present value of around $500,000, we ask for 120,000 euros and offer you 21% of our shares, with an ROI of 33% annually. Let's fuse together.
The automotive business is a rapidly changing industry, but learning the required skills is still pretty challenging. So let us take care of that. Introducing Eragona, the platform for the industry's learning and recruiting needs. Our custom plans are uniquely designed to suit your requirements and are always kept up to date. We're asking for investment of €800,000 for a 20% equity stake in our business, with an expected return of 19%. Let's change education together with Eragona.
Well done, folks. Pretty impressive pitch videos. So
Yeah, really good.
maybe that's also a good learning experience for all the other or for all the upcoming events as a best practice sharing. So that could be a good baseline or benchmark how to do such pitch videos. At this point of time, let us also give a big hand and thank you to all the judges. It was a tremendous job on Thursday and Friday for all the virtual static events on a business plan presentation, cost event and design event. And what we also prepared for tonight, and in this case, let us switch to a different static event. It's now for the design competition. Robert did an interview with 5 design judges earlier today, and we pre-recorded this video. And let us also now see this video about 5 judges sharing their opinion how the design event took place last week, Thursday and Friday.
Okay, welcome everyone to today's static session. Well, it's not actually a static session, but we have some judges with us from the static competition last week. Before we start, I'd like to quickly introduce myself. My name is Robert. Together with Joe, I was responsible for organizing the statics event that happened last week on Thursday and Friday. And we thought about it might be a good idea to have a quick follow-up with some of our judges to also deliver you some more impressions from the judges' point of view about the event. Okay, let me quickly introduce the judges that will be here with me today. We have Luis Galuno from MathWorks. We have Valentin Heidey from Porsche. We have Lukas Kohns from Mercedes-Benz. We have Fabian Liest from ZF. And we have Nuria Mata from ETAS. Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for joining today and taking your time. It's a pleasure to have you back here. Last time we've seen each other was last week on Friday. So welcome, everyone. Okay, let's quickly dive into the discussion. So the first question is basically to all of you. What do you think? How has the first FSG Virtual Statics competition been so far? What do you think about it? What were your impressions?
I'll take that one. I think it's quite challenging, but it's for the best of all of us to be a little bit separated. It's definitely a whole new experience to be able to judge so many teams so quickly. That makes quite a difference, but it's impressive to see the effort that the students have put into making sure that we are able to evaluate their designs in such conditions.
Okay, cool.
So I think it was quite good. So this year's ZF Race Camp was also held virtually. So I was prepared for this kind of event here at FSG. I think like all the others, I was missing the physical contact to the students, seeing all the cars and being able to have the same nice experience like all the years. But I think next year it will be possible again.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone agrees to that. Missing the physical contact to cars and students would be very nice to have again next year. Okay, thank you for the first one. Lukas, I'd actually like to start with you. So in previous years, teams brought all different kinds of equipment to the judging. So of course we've seen cars, we've seen a lot of sample parts, posters and stuff like this. How did the teams actually cope with the virtual environment this season? And what did they bring to the judging of your field of expertise, composites and structural?
Well, I think as the others already said, it was of course a pity to not have any sample parts of the car that you could touch. But for structural engineering, the focus is on calculations and FE simulation anyway. And they are virtual by definition. So we've always been looking mostly at a folder. And maybe there it was even an advantage because without buying a huge load of tablets, all the teams could go 100% digital. And that made it, in some cases, easier to access data and show simulation results. So a well-structured and prepared presentation was, like always, like in the on-sites, the key to a good discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest difference was the accessibility of those presentations in some cases. So I had some discussions where we were discussing about the frame and would have needed something from the structural design or the forces of the suspension. And there we had some problems with that presentation not being on the laptop and on some teammates' laptop. And I think that was one of the biggest challenges. But in general, I think the teams adapted well, and I saw some really well-prepared presentations where they knew where everything was and could access the information quicker than in a hard folder. And I think that was even an improvement, considering the conditions.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we tried to do the vehicle appearance video so that we have at least some impression of the car, but I totally agree. Although you have a lot of calculation, simulation, having the car just in front of you and looking at it is still a whole different story. Okay. Then the second question would be to Nuria. So in this round, you are our FSD expert. And I would be interested to hear from you. So what has you impressed the most this season? And in general, speaking for FSD, from a judge perspective, do you think we're heading in the right direction?
Yes, I think we are heading in the right direction. And the students are also aware of that. There have been very big improvements in the driverless category. For the teams, there is kind of common process in the development. In the first year, they just arrive and start exploring the technology. What is perception? How I fuse the data? How I make the planning of the motion, and learn how to build a car. There were some teams at this stage, but there are more experienced teams, and they are bringing already a design for the autonomous functionality and getting to start building an autonomous car. This year, for the first time, I just realized that there are teams that they did the complete design for an autonomous vehicle, not only using an old car. Now they design the car with all structural, aerodynamics, the autonomous functionality, and the performance will be seen in the next days in the dynamic event. But I was very impressed already how far some teams they are in the complete designing an autonomous car and not building a car from subsystems like it was in the first years.
Okay, that's great to hear.
I think it goes in the right direction.
Yeah,
yes.
That's great to hear. Anything else to add from the other judges about FSD?
So I was also judging the FSD category now since some years, and I'm doing the, classical part of the cars. And I had the same feeling. So the students got better, and it will be nice to see how all this evolves in the next years. So I'm quite looking forward.
Okay, great. Cool, thank you. Then Valentin, I would have the next question for you. So this is your first year of being an FSG judge. You just know the engineering design competition from previous years as a student. Now that you had a couple of years of break, you just joined us at the judge side. How do you feel? What was your impression of being a judge at the competition?
So shortly to Ellen, great experience. And going deeper into details, as a new judge, it was my first year, and I think about the judging strategy, a part of taking into account the tips from more experienced judges, I think I've tried to judge the students in the way I wished I would be judged while I was a student. For example, in the first stages of engineering design, like not in the final ones, I try to give students the opportunity to talk about the highlights. of their car. I was judging aerodynamics, and I told them, was asking the question like, "What is your favorite part, and what are you proud of?" Because it makes a student extremely excited when he has a possibility to tell and to present the results of their hard work he was doing all season, the entire season. So it was very interesting experience. I'm happy that I was allowed to join now the another side, and looking forward for the next year.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, we also are happy to have you on board and looking forward to a few more years of judging. Okay, thank you, Fabian. I have one question. You were the Bay head judge of your Bay. Can you maybe briefly describe what is the task of a Bay head judge? And then from this point of view, what is actually different this year than the past years?
Okay, so beside the regular judging, which is still done by the Bay head, I was responsible for the group of judges. So it started in the morning with setting up the judge group, making sure that all areas of expertise are available, and the students are getting judged with high quality. And then there is other tasks like timekeeping or setting up the how is it called, the rooms in Zoom, and the breakout sessions. And then at the end, I was then leading the scoring session to give the points to the students, and then the feedback session with the students. So I'm also the, first contact person for the students.
Mm-hmm.
And this year it was, I'd say, a bit different from the past years due to the missing contact, but it worked quite well. So the organization was very good. And what I found out, like especially the scoring session, it was much more easier in Hockenheim when you just sit around a table and have discussions. But again, also here we were able to use breakout rooms. So despite all the problems from the virtual event, it was really good.
Yeah. From what I've heard, also timing was a little bit difficult because everything takes a little bit longer. So you had to use basically the breaks that we were planning for you judges to just finish the scoring and give feedback to the teams. So thanks again for doing that. Okay, and Luis, I have one question for you as well. So in this round, you actually are the most experienced judge. If I'm right, I think you have already 7 participations as a judge at FSG. What do you think about looking back? How would you rate the development of the teams over the past years from what you've experienced so far? And do you have any remarks on how to improve in the future, for example?
Sure. First of all, thank you. Yeah, I feel like an old guy now. And second, it's been already a while. And well, to be very honest, there's still a gap between the top teams, the middle teams, and the lower teams. We still see that. We still see the development of the finalists very far ahead of other teams. Nonetheless, I think this year helped some teams to reorganize themselves, to rethink their strategies, to actually build a plan, to actually figure out how to deal with crisis. And we saw some teams stand out from the crowd by having proper risk management in place. That's something that was actually very good to see, how it, as unfortunate as the situation is, it leveraged the field for a lot of the teams. One of the important things that I've seen over the years is how teams year over year improve through the input of the judges whenever the teams are proactive to ask for feedback. And that's kind of the thing that I keep on saying on when I'm on the Bay, keep on telling the teams that they should be proactive on requesting information from the judges on how can they improve. That's one of the most important things. And in general, I find the direction of Formula Student, as Nuria and as Fabian previously mentioned, it's good to see where the direction is going. We're always very impressed by what the students are doing, and in general, seeing the creative solutions and the deep technical knowledge from some teams, it's also very, very, for me, it's very impressive every year. And well, with the inclusion of driverless, we see more and more intelligent and smart solutions towards autonomous driving. So happy to see them and happy to see how they get integrated.
Yeah, maybe just to add one more thing to the feedback, I totally agree. Maybe one definitely important thing all the teams should look at is the feedback sheet that we will upload to the team's personal page. So latest by the end of the week, we will have this uploaded. And it's basically a big overview where you can see all the feedback that judges were putting in during their feedback and scoring session. And it should hopefully be a big help also for the students to know where their weak areas and also their strong areas are to improve for further competitions. Okay, anyone else has anything to add to the last question? Okay.
I always enjoy what Valentin said, the face of the students when we ask them, what are you the most proud of your car? It's only seeing the faces is really gorgeous to see how happy and proud are of their project. I think it's really a nice experience as a judge to see after 1 or 2 years of effort what it comes out and that they are so happy about that.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, well, unfortunately, we have to close the session. But again, thank you so much for taking your time, not just last week for statics, also today for having a quick roundtable discussion with me. Thank you very much, and let's hope to see each other next year back here in Hockenheim in person. So thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you again to the judges. It's always good to hear their feedback and get their opinion how we should improve and how the cars developed. It's also good to have them. And thank you, Robert, also for recording this video earlier this afternoon. By the way, not only this video got recorded, but also the entire grid show gets recorded. So if you want to revisit the slides, you can download them on our webpage, or you can see the videos on our YouTube channel, and you find all the information on our webpage.
So the slides, if you want to catch up again with especially with the briefing afterwards, you can always look under important documents where you can also find, for example, the competition handbook or the rules. So there you will also find the slides from today and from the previous days. All right, after we've seen so many cool videos today, we actually also wanted to take the opportunity to show the guys that are behind all of this, so behind the camera. So we actually made another video for today, which is the introduction of the media team. So let's tune into that.
Hey guys, my name is Stefan, and in this video I will show you what we, the media guys, are doing if the camera isn't rolling and how your team can benefit from our work. Now, what are we doing? We are capturing the moment. We are creating content. We are providing you with videos from Formula Student Germany. Now I told you what we are doing, but who is doing all that and how? Hey Vivek, to take a photo it just needs seconds, but what is happening afterwards?
Yeah, as you mentioned, so taking the photograph, it takes hardly some seconds, but afterwards it goes into editing. Every photographer supplies his own style, and then it goes to pre-check, and after it passes, after about half an hour or an hour, it goes live on the FSG media site.
Hey Karam.
Hey Stefan.
Some people may know you already from Instagram. But can you explain to us what's your job if the camera isn't rolling?
Sure. So what I do is trying to work with my team and do brainstorming to come up with new ideas for our social media content. Beside that, I try to take footages for reels, cut them, follow the trends that's going on over there. And beside that, I try to be as much supportive as I can for my team.
That's awesome. Thank you. Now, I'm one of the video guys, so I can tell you what is happening after I shot, for example, this video. After I shot this video, I have a lot to do. There is, for example, viewing all the footage, cutting and creating effects. But before all that can happen, we need to plan everything into detail. So this is a rough summary of what we are doing. But how can your team benefit from our work? Thankfully, this is an easy question. You can simply share the links to our videos. You don't have to worry about anything. If you want to use the photos taken during the event to promote your team in lectures or on your website, then you can visit media.formulastudent.de and choose every picture you want on how to use the content we are providing you with. For example, this awesome photo showing FSG people at work. If you mention the source, everyone is happy. So just visit media.formulastudent.de and share as much content as you can. Thanks for watching.
Awesome. I love this video.
Yeah, thank you, Stefan, for taking all of the videos and also showing the guys behind the scenes. So they're doing an awesome job, and yeah, for that.
I guess it was a very good overview today. What is Formula Student Germany all about? Behind the scenes, in front of the screens, all the different volunteers we have today, highly focused on judges. But that's not everything for today. We just do a 1-minute break for the Daily Grid Show, and then we continue with our today's team briefing.
So tune in for some photos.
Let's just do 1-minute break and we are right back. Here in our studio,
Welcome back.
We are right back here in the studio.
Yes.
And this is our first team briefing at FSG 2021. And as we all know, we head into the dynamic events tomorrow morning. So definitely we have to share more information with you so that to make sure that all of you are prepared for the dynamic events. Maybe one general advice. So of course you can also raise questions, and we use the same tool as you know from the previous academy sessions. So if you are right now on live.formulastudent.de and you scroll down, you see the Slido frame, and that's the way how you can enter your questions. So as always, put in your questions. If you're a team and you find a question there which you would also raise, please use the highlight functionality. So in order to let us know that you also consider these questions very important. And after the presentation, we will raise your questions to Stick, who we also want to welcome now in our studio. Stick is the head of Dynamics and will guide us now through the to the upcoming presentation.
So welcome, Stick. Hi.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you tonight.
Yes, really good.
It's good to be here. I normally do this on stage, so this is new for me too. Try to do my very best. I'm here because of Dynamics, and yeah, I have prepared some slides. We'll go through them, and there is more information than that, and we'll see if we can't get around that too.
All right, it's good to have you. I guess you have prepared a lot of information, so now let's start the presentation and dive right into it.
I think we will still need a few more minutes until the presentation's ready. So maybe you can talk a bit about what you've actually did today already to prepare the setup for the track tomorrow. So did you already place the cones, or how does that work?
The preparation doesn't even start today. It started weeks ago, where we planned everything out. So what you've seen today is just us placing cones on marks that we already knew where to put. Mm-hmm. It makes it look extremely easy, but it all comes out of preparation.
Yeah.
Always preparation.
Did you see a lot of cars running already today on the practice track?
Way more than I expected, in fact. Again, because of the scrutineering and all of a sudden it picked up on the practice track, which is always nice to see. We have new track marshals, and the practice track is practice for them too. So we've enjoyed ourselves out there today. We only have had luxury problems, so to speak.
Yeah. And I also saw that we changed the setup for a skid pad, right?
That's correct. We'll be starting with a skid pad tomorrow. And again, you saw us placing cones on some circles that were already there, and we marked them out with a tool that we prepared a long time ago. So again, by means of good preparation, we can make it look extremely easy. We can set up fast. We can change between setups fast. And that's how we can put so many dynamic events into so little time.
Cool. So I think now the slides should be ready. Maybe we can check if we can get them.
Oh, that looks like the slides I prepared. That's nice.
Very good. Yeah, lovely.
So the first thing I'll start with is I'll bring up an old photo of No Discussion Peter. Those who have been around for a lifetime remember him. And it's some general information about dynamics. First and foremost, arrive at the event when you wish to do your run. That means no hanging around pointlessly. And again, showing up early and then hanging around to speculate in a late run. If you want to speculate, don't hang around in the dynamic area. And if you want to speculate, I will hear no complaining that you didn't get your run. So my recommendation is always get a run in as early as you can, then play poker with a second run. That's my recommendation. That is not the rule. Everything is entirely up to you. Ready to race, that means ready to race. It means belts are buckled, your helmet, your driver's helmet at least, is on, gloves on, balaclava in the collar, and the car in ready condition. We will tell you when to either turn on the engine or when to switch the high voltage system on. But by and large, turning the car on is not time consuming. Getting the driver in is time consuming, so please do that beforehand. Then, this is no surprise to anybody, the scrutineers will do spot checking, and they will hang around at the events. They won't always check the same thing, so you need to be as prepared scrutineering-wise for dynamic events as you are when going into scrutineering. Another quite important issue is we are a very compact event. We don't have a lot of room, so we will allow handheld umbrellas in the dynamic area and nothing more. No tents, no tarps, no pavilions, no marquees, no nothing. One umbrella. We don't have room for all that stuff. And one final remark. We will handle the cleanliness of the dynamic area. So don't bring your own brooms, please. Keep your tire protectors on until you queue up, then take them off. And I promise you, we will sweep the queue lanes as well. Yes, I believe that is what I need for this one. So Katarina talked about practice tracks yesterday, and I'll do it again. It's much of the same stuff. There's your time frame, and I put here that priority will be given to those who request EBS testing. In the very last minute, we actually decided to keep the EBS testing in the dynamic area and move the practice area to the north stand or the Nordkurve. So that conflict we won't have anymore. And again, you see opening hours for area 2. That's the, let's say, left-hand side of the infield. We allow 3 to 5 minutes. It totally depends on the queue situation. So show up, sign in at the list with the marshals. They are usually quite talkative and they will answer your questions. And then regarding cleanliness of the dynamic area, remove your stuff after testing is done. So a lot of teams actually take their cars and leave their toolboxes. And that's great, but we have enough tools now, so please take your tools with you, okay? So we move on to the more interesting stuff, the stuff that you score points on. And we start with skid pad for CVs and EVs, open from 8:30 to 12:30 on the dynamic area as shown. 4 runs per team, 2 laps to the right, 2 laps to the left. There will be a person telling you that as well. About the queuing, your car is in ready-to-race condition when you enter the queue. And there are 2 queues, or 2 lanes in the queue, one for first run, and then 1 lane for the second to fourth run. And this is because we give priority to the first run. And again, we will handle that by the order you show up in the line. And don't worry, if you are on your first run, we'll prioritize you. For the skid pad, the flag situation is very easy. And if you do everything right, all you need is a green flag. See, here's one I prepared earlier. This is the green flag. That means start your run. If we show you the red flag, it generally means that either something has gone really bad on our end or you messed up. So if you see this flag, immediately bring your car to a safe stop and await further instructions. Remember, if the stop is our fault, you will be given a rerun. If it was your fault, it's a DNF. Which brings us neatly on to the penalties. Cone down or out is 0.2 seconds, of course. Wrong number of laps or wrong direction are DNFs. Keeping with CV and EV, acceleration, that takes place on the start-finish line, 13:15 to 16:30. It's all in FSG today, obviously. You enter, and it's called gate 6. That might not mean much to you, so I put a little pictogram, and you see the red and the green arrows. When you come down there will be signs guiding you, so no need to panic over my really terrible drawing here. 4 runs per team, as always. 2 runs for each driver. We will, to launch you, show you the green flag, but that is to communicate with the driver. The time starts on the line crossing, not on the flag drop. Putting that away again. We have the queue situation, same as the skid pad. Yada, yada, yada. We'll give priority to the first run teams. Then the important bit. The car drives under its own power from the queue to the start line, and then it is staged by the starter. When you've done your run, follow the traffic lane around for second run or exit. So the flags I already mentioned, and the penalties are pretty much the same as for the skid pad, that a cone down or out, 0.2 seconds, and an off course is a DNF. I won't say anything about wrong direction, because that's not gonna happen. Let's just agree on that, please. It's not that hard. Most likely, we will make an exemption from the rule that says no engine running with the push bar on, and that's because we really need to keep the flow up. So if a module tells you to start your engine even though the push bar is still attached to your car, please don't freak out. We do it on purpose, and we know what we're doing. Thank you. Moving on to the driverless. Acceleration, that's open from 9 to 12. Location on the start-finish line, entry and exit, the same way as I just explained it for CV and EV. This time it's only 2 runs per team, because it's pointless to change drivers, so we'll keep it to 2 runs. Startup according to rule D26, and collection of cars according to rule D28, but we need to keep the throughput up. And we know that you do not appreciate running. So when your car has finished its mission, we will shuttle the push bar guy, the driver, and up to 2 people to where the car has stopped, so you can remove it faster. That's our service to you. Remember, the ASR will stay with the race director during the mission, so that both the ASR and the race director has the opportunity to hit the kill switch if it goes all bad. There we go. Keeping to driverless, this time skid pad. It is located on the dynamic area. The entry and exit is exactly as we have known it for the test track. Signs are guiding you as per usual. 2 runs per team, because there's no reason to change driver. We start up according to rule D26 as usual, and we collect cars according to rule D28. No shuttle service, you will have to walk to pick up your car yourself. And it is allowed to walk in a, shall we say, healthy pace, so we can keep the throughput up. ASR will stay with the race director during the mission as per usual. Driverless autocross. This one is a little more tricky regarding the entry. Please look at the little map I drew. You need to enter through gate 4. And then you use the emergency lane for the actual Hockenheim ring. We will put up signs, and we will do a little bit of traffic control until everybody get used to it. It is narrow, so please make room for everybody. We don't expect a lot of traffic, but we've been surprised before. I want to bring your attention to the course walk. The time frame, of course, is as per FSG today, And then rule D631 regarding data collection. It allows you one measurement wheel or tape measure. It has to be analog. So no wheelbarrows, no GPS antennas, no cameras, no electronic data recording. One measurement wheel and human intelligence. That's all you get. For the autocross, you're allowed 2 runs per team. I promise to publish the length. That is 220 meters. We start up and we collect cars according to the rules that I've quoted multiple times now. No shuttle service because this is a circle, so I think we can manage. The ASR will stay with the race director, and there's a little platform up there for better visibility for both of those 2 people. That's all I had for you today. I look forward to the submitted questions from Slido, and Matthäus and Katarina will handle that, and I will answer to the best of my ability.
Thank you, Stig.
Yeah, thank you, Stig.
It was a very lively presentation. So thanks, Stig, for this first team briefing.
Yeah, and I like your pace.
Well, there you go.
So we are now 2 minutes past our expected time, which is good. So now we have one more question, or one question actually only in Slido, that were asked by Delft. If all drivers and team captains have to be logged into the session and separately see the event. So this is not the case. So if you make sure, I also wrote that in the reply or in the answer, you don't need to log in separately. So we don't look whether every driver watched the video or not. But still, it is for your own responsibility and safety to actually watch the video and check out all of the guidelines we give you, because this, of course, creates a little mess if you don't know what we told you. And yeah, so please make sure to watch it. We don't require everyone to log in, but I think this goes without saying that this is actually important information we show you here.
Yeah, if I can just comment on that, I completely agree. It is important, and this event is a little different for all of us. And it's different also because we haven't had an event last year, and that means some of the experienced drivers are now, or there are fewer experienced drivers. And everybody says, how hard can skid-pad be? Harder than you think, in fact. And I spoke to one of the scrutineers, and he said, it's all well and good that we get the cars running, but we are lacking the experienced drivers, so there may be more cones to pick up. And he said that as a joke, but I would like to say, more than ever, it's important that you as drivers familiarize yourselves with the track, either by looking through the rules, looking through the event handbook, or during the course walks, which we will have as we always do, because it is for your, let's say, safety and convenience that we try to guide you through as well as possible. It's easier for us, so we can have more cars through, and it's also better for you because you knock down way fewer cones if you just do like we explained to you. So please familiarize yourself with this content and with the contents of the event handbook.
All right, then there was... Yeah, sorry. One question, actually, it just popped up. I think it's quite a simple one because there's a rule for it. So the guys from Poland asked, is it possible for one driver to drive all runs for a team in skid pad or acceleration, or both drivers have to do 2 runs only?
Both drivers, 2 runs only. That's how it goes. There's a rule for that.
Exactly.
In the olden days, it was actually queuing for first and second driver, but then people started playing poker with that, so we took that possibility away, but the rule still applies, 2 runs per driver.
Yeah, I think...
All right. I guess it was a very long day. We have experienced a lot. We have seen it in a grid show today. More to come tomorrow. It will be a very busy Thursday with all the tech inspection going on, with the dynamics going on. Maybe also find your time to connect to each other, visit the sponsors at their booths. And so I would say there's just one flag left. So it might be the checkered flag.
Yes.
And say, let's call it a day. And we see you tomorrow morning again, right?
Yeah, see you tomorrow. And also tune in tomorrow night for our live show. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Good
Goodbye.
night. Bye-bye.